Hi everybody, Sergeant Salt and Pepper here, back again to do another video. It's been a while since I've done one in front of the camera, but I figured, why not? I had some other videos that I shot, but I didn't think they were very good, so I didn't end up putting them out. But today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time, and that's a pickups video. Now, some of you may know, I recently got a new turntable. I got a Project Essential 3 George Harrison turntable because the Beatles guy has got to have a Beatles turntable. Now, I want to preface this by saying I used to have, years ago, a gigantic collection. I couldn't even tell you how many records I had. I filled up at least two whole big IKEA shelves worth of records. I'm talking like probably over 300, maybe even over 400. And then one day I woke up and I made the decision that I just didn't want to collect records anymore. I felt like they were taking up space. I felt I had too many of them. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I got rid of all of them. Do I regret that? Nah. Yes and no. I'll say it was probably around like 2020, maybe I got a new turntable. And it was okay, but it grew to kind of have some issues with not playing records quite at the right speed or the right pitch. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting a new turntable. And as soon as I got a new turntable, it was like that spark inside of me just reignited. And I realized record collecting was a hobby that I always loved, and now I really want to get back into it, and I have. So today I'm going to show you some things I picked up. We're going to start not with records, but just to show these off. So Criterion is a company that puts out movies on DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff. They only put out what they consider to be some of the best movies, and they recently had a big 50% off sale on their website, only for a day, and luckily I was able to catch that and get some things. So what did I get? Well, let's go through them. First, I got Mona Lisa, which is a movie with Bob Hoskins and Michael Caine. This is a movie that I always say it's a really good movie, but not a lot of people know about it. It's actually one of my favorite, if not my, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite movie of all time, but it's close. It's like top 3 for me. This is a great movie. I also got another Bob Hoskins, because I like Bob Hoskins, The Long Good Friday. This one has Bob Hoskins, Helen Mirren. It also has a very young Pierce Brosnan in one of his first roles. Very good kind of gangster, British gangster type movie. I also got this movie. I recently got the John Cassavetes box set, and this movie was not in it, but it's really cool because he's a director, actor that I've always heard, like, you know, if you love cinema, you should watch his movies. So this was one I didn't have. Ben Gazzara, Peter Falk, and John Cassavetes in Husbands. So I did not have this one, so I figured get that. And this is a movie, to cap this off, this is a movie I always wanted to have on Blu-ray. It's a favorite of mine. And it's Midnight Cowboy with Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Hey, I'm walking here. You know, this is a great one. So, now, on to things I found today. So, I went to a Peddler's Mall, which, for those who don't know, is like an indoor flea market type place. Thrift store, flea market, whatever. So, I actually did find some things. First up, the first stand that I hit had a bunch of records. They also had some vintage music magazines. So I was able to pick up 2 Rolling Stone magazines. The first one has John and Yoko on the cover. This was 1982, so it would have been 2 years after John passed. And then this one has Ringo on the cover. So obviously, just because they had the Beatles on the covers, had to get them. This one is 1981. On to a bunch of records. These all came from different booths that I saw in the Peddler's Mall. So in no particular order, we have Marsalis Standard Time Volume 1. This is Wynton Marsalis, great trumpet player. A guy that I always liked. I think I had one of his records in the past. May have not been this one. Next I found, I'm a big jazz guy, so I found Oscar Peterson Plays the Duke Ellington Songbook. This was a really nice one to find. I really like Oscar Peterson, and so shout outs to my Canadian family, because Oscar Peterson, Canadian, stuff like that. Next I found, this was interesting. I'll always pick up something Beatles related if it's interesting enough, and it was interesting enough. This is Francois Glorieux, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Plays the Beatles. This just had a really interesting cover, you know, obviously doing the Abbey Road thing. And I think, from what I understand, this guy is a piano player, and I think he mainly plays kind of like classical stuff. So I think, if I'm right, it's like a classical pianist playing Beatles songs. So I just thought, well, that's interesting. You know, you take a chance every now and then on something interesting. So next we have Spyro Gyra, or Gira, or however you say that, Carnival. This is a group that my mom used to listen to, and I never had any of their records, so I figured it'd be a good opportunity to get one. Next, I have Jean-Luc Ponty. This is A Taste for Passion. I never had any of his records, but I've always kind of been interested to listen to him and see, you know, if I like him or not. So that was a nice find. Next we have the Griffith Park Collection. This is actually a promo copy, and it is Stanley Clarke, Chick Corea, Joe Henderson, Freddie Hubbard, and Lenny White. I mainly got this because Chick Corea is on it, and I really like Chick Corea. But I also like Stanley Clarke, and I also like Freddie Hubbard, so that's also kind of a win. Next we have a really cool one. I never owned this one, but I always heard good things about it. This is Mike Bloomfield, Al Cooper, and Stephen Stills Super Session. This is a quadraphonic version. So if you had a quadraphonic, like, stereo system back in the day, this would have a different kind of sound to it, I guess. I don't have one, but you can still play it on like a regular turntable setup, whatever. So anyway, it'll just be cool to hear. It's kind of like a blues kind of session, I guess, blues rock type thing. But it was cool to find that one. And I don't necessarily know if I saved the best for last or the worst for last, but I saw this. I actually saw one copy of this. I pulled it out, and it wasn't in very good condition. And then I found another copy, and I think at $5, I think it was cheaper than the first copy I found, and it was in better condition. So Tiny Tim's second album. I never had any Tiny Tim before, but this is funny. You know, a lot of people would see this and probably be like, really, Tiny Tim? You actually like Tiny Tim? I actually like Tiny Tim. What can I say? He's kind of an anomaly. He's kind of a strange thing. that at the time when he was doing music, and he sang in the high-pitched voice, and he had his little ukulele, and he was singing these old like vaudeville songs, and you know, Maurice Chevalier and stuff like that. And for the time, it was pretty strange. It's even strange when you think back on now, I guess. But I think it'll be interesting. It's funny because my grandmother did not like Tiny Tim. So as a joke, I used to play Tiny Tim and drive her up the wall because she did not want to hear it. But it was just funny to me. But yeah, I don't know. It was just something that I was like, yeah, Tiny Tim's second album. Yeah, I'm going to pick that up. Why not? Anyway, that's what I picked up. And I've really been getting back into records. I've been listening to records while I work on art stuff on my computer. And it's really, really nice to be able to do that. So, yeah, thank you everybody for watching. And I will catch you all next time. Later.